Hey everyone, this is Zach. Just wanted to give you a word of encouragement for this week. I was reading in 2 Samuel. There's my passage is coming from 2 Samuel 12. And basically this is after David has slept with Bathsheba, conceived a child, and then went on to murder Bathsheba's husband. The Lord sends Nathan to David to give him a word. And essentially, Nathan gives this parable of this rich man and the poor man. And so essentially the basics of this parable is there's a rich man that has a ton of cattle, lots of flocks and whatnot, and then there's a poor man that has just this one small lamb. And the word says that this lamb was like a daughter to this man. And so there's a traveler that comes along and comes to the rich man and says, give me basically a cow or a sheep or something like that. And the rich man could not for any reason want to give up one of his own, and so instead he goes and takes this one lamb from this poor man. And in this, at the end of this parable, David is so irritated and so frustrated and furious that would happen. And David says that man should die. And Nathan's response is David, you are that man. And essentially what happens is the Lord goes on to tell David everything you've done in secret with all of this going on with Bathsheba and conceiving the child and killing this man all in secret, I'm going to now do in public. And what he's saying is, in the scripture, he says, I'm going to bring disaster on you from your own family, and I will take your wives and give them to another before your very eyes, and he will sleep with them publicly. You acted in secret, but I will do this before all of Israel in broad daylight. Now that sounds really terrifying, and that doesn't sound encouraging at all, but keep paying attention. Let's move forward. So David's response is one of the key things that matters here. David finally responds and says, I have sinned against the Lord. And at this point, Nathan replied to David, the Lord has taken away your sin. You will not die. However, because you have treated the Lord in such contempt in this matter, the son born to you will then die. And then Nathan went on. Man, that's a hard place to be in when you've conceived a child out of all of these just horrible things, and then finally responding, we think, okay, we've now responded and God's going to take care of me. The reality is that's not the end of the story. What needs to genuinely happen is God is wanting things to happen in our life that will actually cause us to respond to him. And so essentially what happens is, as the story continues, let me find my notes here. David's child is finally born, and then the child gets severely sick and passes away. And the servants are whispering, and they finally tell David, your son has passed away. And so this finally breaks David down completely, and he goes to worship. And then if you flip over into Psalms 51, this is where this psalm comes through, and it says it's basically David worshiping God after this moment of finally being broken. And David's pleading for God just to be present back in his life and repenting and whatnot. And in verse 16 of Psalms 51, verse 16 and 17, it says, you do not want a sacrifice. You are not pleased with a burnt offering. The sacrifice pleasing to God is a broken spirit. God, you will not despise a broken and humbled heart. And essentially, the entire bit of this entire, the parable, the story with David and then in this psalm is that God's not so much worried about what you're willing to sacrifice or willing to get rid of. He's more focused on the heart behind all of it. And so I just want you to be encouraged that no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what kind of things you're dealing with, no matter all of the things that you're willing to give up, God is more focused on the heart behind any and everything that you want, that you need. He wants you to have this moment of willingness to just say, God, I am broken, and all I need and all I can have is you, God. And so right now, I just want you to take the time to think about those things. And as you go out through the rest of this week, say, God, what is it that's keeping my heart away from longing you and keeping me from you? So I want you to be encouraged this week. Hope that was helpful, and we'd love to talk to you soon.